Well, yesterday was an historic day. There was last minute testimony scheduled in the January 6th committee from a former aide to Trump chief of staff, Mark Meadows. Her name is Cassidy Hutchinson. This was scheduled relatively last minute. It was expected to be explosive, and it was. In fact, it was so potentially explosive that I even canceled yesterday's bonus show.
Oh, the bonus show where you want to make money, but everybody else that makes money to fund themselves is bad.
And if I cancel that, you know something's big is going on. And indeed it was. Yesterday, we received testimony from Cassidy Hutchinson, former aide to former Trump chief of staff, Mark Meadows, that Donald Trump knew there were people at his January 6th rally with guns, and he wanted the metal detectors turned off so more people could get in, saying they don't want to hurt me. Trump was so determined to go to the Capitol with the rioters that he allegedly assaulted a Secret Service officer and attempted to commandeer his vehicle. He also threw his lunch at the wall, leaving a ketchup stain dribbling down the walls of the White House, and so many other claims. Let's get right into it. Like nothing we've ever heard before.
The impression from Mr. Meadows that the off-the-record movement to the Capitol was still possible and likely to happen, but that Bobby had more information. So once the president had gotten into the vehicle with Bobby, he thought that they were going up to the Capitol, and when Bobby had relayed to him, we don't have the assets to do it, it's not secure, we're going back to the West Wing, the president had very strong, a very angry response to that. Tony described him as being irate. The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now." To which Bobby responded, "Sir, we have to go back to the West Wing."
Sir?
The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel.
Wow.
Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol." Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel. And when Mr. Ornato had recounted this story to me, he had motioned towards his clavicles.
Wow.
And was Mr. Engel in the room as Mr. Ornato told you this story?
He was.
Did Mr. Engel correct or disagree with any part of the story from Mr. Ornato?
Mr. Engel did not correct or disagree with any part of the story.
Did Mr. Engel or Mr. Ornato ever after that tell you that what Mr. Ornato had just said was untrue?
Neither Mr. Ornato nor Mr. Engel told me ever that it was untrue.
Wow. Wow. The allegations here are assaulting a Secret Service agent, attempting to commandeer the vehicle. And I don't know that Donald Trump knows how to drive. I'm not aware of him ever driving, but I guess attempting to redirect the vehicle towards where he wanted to go, and a determination to go to the Capitol. Now, this is arguably the most sort of salacious allegation, but the undertone of all of it is a degree of premeditation and foreknowledge that armed, violent people would be coming to the Capitol on January 6th, and a desire for them to be there, and a desire for them to wreak havoc, and an expectation that they would. No one was surprised in the Trump circle that this is the way it went on January 6th. Incredible allegations. Now, there are now reports that some of the Secret Service officers mentioned dispute and are willing to, get them under oath. OK, what we have right now is Cassidy Hutchinson under oath, and we have Trump posting on Truth Social or Truth Central and claims to reporters that Secret Service, put him under oath. Right now, this is what we have under oath. OK, second series of allegations that are absolutely outrageous, but not particularly shocking, that Trump threw a fit so large that he launched his food at the wall. Of course, his lunch included ketchup. Unclear whether they were dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets or what he was eating with the ketchup. That's not a detail we have. But Trump losing it and leaving ketchup dripping down the wall.
The physical altercation that Ms. Hutchinson described in the presidential vehicle was not the first time that the president had become very angry.
Oh, sorry. And that's so first we're looking at one other clip here, but we're going to get to the catch up.
Angry about issues relating to the election. On December 1, 2020, Attorney General Barr said in an interview that the Department of Justice had now not found evidence of widespread election fraud sufficient to change the outcome of the election. Ms. Hutchinson, how did the president react to hearing that news?
Around the time that I understand the AP article went live, I remember hearing noise coming from down the hallway, so I poked my head out of the office, and I saw the valet walking towards our office. He had said, "Get the chief down to the dining room, the president wants him." So Mark went down to the dining room and came back to the office a few minutes later. After Mark had returned, I left the office and went down to the dining room, and I noticed that the door was propped open and the valet was inside the dining room changing the tablecloth off of the dining room table. He motioned for me to come in and then pointed towards the front of the room near the fireplace mantle and the TV, where I first noticed there was ketchup dripping down the wall and there's a shattered porcelain plate on the floor. The valet had articulated that the president was extremely angry at the Attorney General's AP interview and had thrown his lunch against the wall, which was causing them to have to clean up. So I grabbed a towel and started wiping the ketchup off of the wall to help the valet out. And he said something to the effect of, "He's really ticked off about this. I would stay clear of him for right now. He's really, really ticked off about this right now."
Wow. Ketchup down the wall. And apparently Trump would regularly throw dishes, and that was also testified to.
I started wiping the ketchup off of the wall to help the valet out. And he said something to the effect of, "He's really ticked off about this. I would stay clear of him for right now. He's really, really ticked off about this right now."
And Ms. Hutchinson, was this the only instance that you are aware of where the president threw dishes?
It's not.
And are there other instances in the dining room that you recall where he expressed his anger?
There were several times throughout my tenure with the chief of staff that I was aware of him either throwing dishes or flipping the tablecloth to let all the contents of the table go onto the floor. And
There you go. Just grabbing the tablecloth and pushing it up and knocking everything over. This was an unhinged man. And most importantly, listen, throwing ketchup at the wall from your chicken tendies that you're eating, this is not a crime. It does go to Trump's instability, on and on and on. But so far, there has been no dispute whatsoever that Donald Trump knew and wanted armed people to be let beyond the magnetometers, metal detectors with their firearms. There is no dispute from witnesses that Donald Trump was absolutely determined to get to the Capitol with the mob. And there is absolutely no dispute about all of the claims that everybody, Mark Meadows, Trump, Pat Cipollone, whoever, they all knew exactly that what happened on January 6th was what was expected to happen. No dispute there. Now, one other thing. There are some people making Cassidy Hutchinson out to be some kind of hero. Cassidy Hutchinson is not a hero, okay? Cassidy Hutchinson is cooperating with an investigation. If she does not cooperate, she is not like Roger Stone or whoever, okay? This is a mid-level staffer. The legal hell that could be rained upon her if she doesn't cooperate or if she lies under oath is extraordinary. She was part of the MAGA crowd. She worked for Mark Meadows and Trump. She agreed with all of it. At the very end, she didn't like the way that they were trying to steal the election. But she is not a hero. She's acting out of self-preservation. She was there for a year or more. This is the testimony that we needed 12, 14, 15, 16 months ago. Great that she's here. To the extent that she's telling the truth, fantastic. But Cassidy Hutchinson is not a hero. She is here because she's in serious legal jeopardy if she's not here. Period. Let's now move on to the Hang Mike Pence circumstances. One of our sponsors is Airly, the delicious crunchy crackers that are fighting climate change. Did you know over 25% of greenhouse gases come from the global food supply chain? A lot of companies talk about getting to net zero carbon emissions by 2030 or whatever date. Airly has been net zero since day one, and they will never be a net carbon emitter. Each box of Airly crackers removes 18 to 21 grams of CO2 from the air. That's why it's called Airly. They're available in 4 delicious sweet or savory flavors: cheddar, sea salt, chocolate, salted caramel or caramel, as some people like to say. Whole grain oats are always the main ingredient. They're made with 100% real cheese, cocoa, butter, brown sugar. Our whole team loves them. I know you will too. It is a snack you can feel good about. Go to airlyfoods.com/Pacman and use the code Pacman for 25% off. The link is down below.